Hello and welcome to another Taco Tuesday here at WiLS, the last Taco Tuesday of 2022, if you can believe it. I don't know about anybody else. I feel as though basically every month since September has just gone lickety-split. I don't know how time goes so fast. But with all of that said, it is December 6th. And we are joined today once again by four of our great vendor partners here at WiLS. You can see on the screen now the rundown, and I'll come back to this screen in between each of our sessions. But without any further ado, I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen and introduce you to Victor Karkar, coming to us from Scrible.
All right. Hi, everybody. Wonderful to see you. Jeff, thanks for the quick introduction. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we can dive right in. If I can find where this screen went. Give me 1 second. I just had it up. Isn't it funny when you set it up ahead of time, you think it's all going to work smoothly, and then you...
I know exactly how you feel. Oh, I can see it. It looks like it's working.
All right. Sorry about that. Okay. Wonderful. So, Jeff, just let me know if you find that it's not projecting or the audio is lagging or something like that. Please interrupt me. But hi, everybody. My name is Victor. I'm co-founder and CEO of Scrible. It's really wonderful to spend a little bit of time with you today. Thanks for taking time to learn about Scrible and the other great vendor partners that WiLS has here today. Scrible, for those of you that don't know us, we describe it as a super app for research and writing. And I'll talk a little bit about the problem that we solve and the work we're doing and give you an example of one of your peers that we're working with in Wisconsin, which is really exciting. Just a high-level background, we have been backed by the National Science Foundation and currently by the Department of Education. That's why you see their logos at the top there. And this is my baby. I started this company because I needed something like this way back when as a student. So it originally comes from a very personal place of need as a student. But over the years, we've worked increasingly with a variety of educators, including librarians in Wisconsin. And so we're really happy to kind of show you what we've built based on the feedback and the work that we've done with other folks. Here's the problem that we've been addressing, which is more than half the students in secondary in our country struggle with research skills, and they're not ready for college level writing, right? I think a lot of you probably kind of know this inherently based on your own work. It's a problem that starts quite early. We tend to focus on it really in secondary, although we do have folks using Scrible in late elementary as well. And we'll be happy to talk to you about that if that's the grade levels that you work with. But this problem continues on into the college environment where college instructors complain that students that are coming to them out of high school are not well prepared in these areas. And so there's a lot of data around this, both in terms of the proficiency or the lack thereof, certainly in secondary in K-12, but also what happens when they get into college. And frankly, this problem has obviously been worsened by the pandemic, like a lot of things have been worsened by the pandemic. And the reason for this, I think a lot of you know probably from your own experience helping students and teachers through the research and writing process, is that historically the way a lot of this work has been done by teachers and students involved a lot of sort of typical face-to-face interactions and feedback during class time. So for example, a teacher would say, I'm going to spend a few minutes let's say this Monday looking at everybody's research articles, or you might do that as a librarian with the students. And then next week, we're going to look at their annotations. And then the week after that, we're going to look at their outline and so forth. And the reality is a lot of that actually ended up getting disrupted during the pandemic. And so basically for the last year or two, and certainly for the next year or two, we see students that are coming into college that are even more ill-prepared than they were in the pre-pandemic times. And so that's sort of what was, has been made worse recently. But even just at a baseline in the sort of pre-pandemic times, one of the reasons why, writing in particular and evidence-based writing, which is really what research writing is, the reason that it's been so poor is that, frankly, it's been on the decline for a long time. As you can see here, there's a quote from the Chronicle of Higher Education that talks about that. But what I like is also to talk to, obviously, educators, your peers, whether they be librarians or teachers. And, what they tell us, which I think a lot of us know, is that, frankly, just doing the whole process, doing the pre-writing and writing process is a heavy lift. So there's a massive sort of time and effort burden. And so what we have done at Scrible is really try to dissect the workflow to try to understand why it's so difficult and what's so hard about it. And I think, as a lot of you know from your own work with students, the process is logistically complex, right? Historically, students have to do a lot of different steps. They have to curate their information sources, annotate them to find evidence, cite them, build an outline, build a bibliography, write a draft of a paper, and then go through iterations maybe on multiple of those steps based on feedback from yourself or from a teacher that you're working with. And so there's lots of steps involved. And historically, teachers and students and librarians have had to cobble together a lot of different apps to get through the process. So imagine a standalone citation tool, a PDF annotation tool that helps you annotate, database articles from EBSCO and Gale, for example, right? Or a web clipper or bookmarking service that helps you basically, gather internet research. So it's a kind of a hodgepodge and a hot mess of different apps and tools that educators and students have to kind of get through the process. And it leads to scattered work by students because it's not easy to stay organized. And for yourselves and the teachers you work with, it is hard to teach and track students through that process because all the student data and work is trapped in all these different data silos and these different ways of working. And so what we've done at Scrible is really try to address this sort of workflow problem, if you will, by building a lot of these capabilities under one roof. And that is why we call Scrible a super app for research and writing. We've basically built it so that we help students curate, annotate, cite, and write all under one platform. And when I say write, I should be very clear. We're not asking you to write in a word processor. We actually are partnered and integrated with Google and Microsoft. So we have an add-on for Google Docs and an add-in for Microsoft Word that really helps students easily bring their pre-writing work or their research into the writing process in the document that they're working in. And the sort of simplest and best way for me to be able to show you this quickly, especially given our short time together, is actually to show you a brief 2-minute video that we've had made that is an animated kind of explainer video. So I'm going to turn up the audio on my laptop here, and usually this works pretty well. Hopefully it'll come through well on the recording as well after the fact, but I'm just going to sit here and we can just watch that together, and then I'll go back to the presentation. Thank you.
Until now, students have had to use multiple separate tools for their research and writing work, making it time-consuming, frustrating, and hard to stay organized throughout the process. Scrible unites this disjointed workflow by bringing everything together under one roof. It's a super app for students, educators, and librarians to curate, annotate, cite, and write. With Scrible, curating information is easy. Scrible saves web pages, PDFs, and database articles instantly to a cloud-based library with just a click of the Scrible Chrome extension. You can also add files like PDFs from your desktop and Google Drive. You can richly annotate articles directly in the browser and even collaboratively annotate with others in real time. Citations are generated automatically. Scrible pulls citation information from articles and books and instantly displays the properly formatted citation. The Scrible library stores a wide variety of file and information formats. Stay organized by using full text search and tags to find articles. Scrible also empowers the writing process. Quickly generate an outline by dragging and dropping quotes and comments from your Scrible library. In Google Docs, the Scrible add-on allows you to access your library so you can easily insert your outline and bring your evidence, comments, and citations into the paper while automatically updating your bibliography. Scrible is deeply integrated with Google for Education, including roster sync and assignment integration with Google Classroom. Scrible also offers rich analytics for tracking student progress in real time. Quickly see which students are struggling and where they're stuck. Scrible centralizes student work, making it accessible in one place and enabling educators to easily provide timely feedback throughout the entire process. For students, Scrible frees up valuable time wasted on manual and mundane tasks for higher level learning, like reading critically for quality evidence and crafting strong arguments. For educators, Scrible enables personalized instruction for close reading, research, and writing. Sign up for a free account today and see what Scrible can do for you.
All right, hopefully you're all able to hear that okay. I'm going to go back to where we were in the presentation, and I know our time is kind of coming to an end in a few minutes. So I wanted to just highlight a couple of important things, and then I know I want to leave a couple of minutes for questions. The video is great, but it kind of has, I think, two shortcomings. One is that it's sort of just focused on the Google world, but as I mentioned earlier, we're also integrated with the Microsoft world. So if that's useful to you to know, please know that while the video is googly, we also integrate with the Microsoft folks. And the second thing is that the video is actually very student-oriented, but there's a lot of things that we do for educators, such as teachers and the librarians that maybe work with them on assignments. And so this is one of the examples of the things that I think are really important from an educator standpoint. It's glossed over kind of at the end there of the video. What we're able to do is really show you, how many students are on target and off target for different steps in the process. And we're able to do this because, again, all the work's being done under one roof. So we can kind of tie together data and provide that real-time progress monitoring to you through the work that students are doing as they're going through the pre-writing and writing process. So we can show you, for example, how many students have started the research or not, started the paper or not, or met certain goals that were created for the assignment when the assignment was created. And so if it's 3 days before the paper is due and you see that these 5 students haven't even started the research, now you know where to kind of focus your time and energy. We also have data at the individual student level. So we can show you, for example, Jordan here has collected 6 articles. She's met the first goal, on her way to meeting the second goal. Susan's a rock star because she's all in the green and she's already turned it in. Kara here still has a lot of work left to do, right? All things that you'd like to know sooner rather than later, so that you can help them course correct in case it's getting too late in the game for them to do a quality job. And the beautiful thing about all this is, again, we are able to show you the data around the work. What's not shown in this slide or in the video is that we're actually able to also give you access to the underlying work. Because all the work is centralized, we are able to create what's called an assignment library for each student for that assignment. And that assignment library houses all the different aspects of their work. There's a tab for their sources, a tab for their annotations or their evidence, a tab for their outline, a tab for their bibliography. And we even embed the Google Docs viewer, for example, under the papers tab. And so as a student, everything's organized for you in one place. But as a librarian or a teacher that's working with the student, you can actually jump into that and see the students work at any point while they're working on the assignment. And so that gives you the ability to provide formative feedback in a way that normally just isn't easy, because oftentimes trying to get your hands on the work historically has been a little bit like herding cats and pulling teeth. So this gives you access to data that helps you make better decisions about how to spend your time with the students, and actually make a plan for who you want to spend more time with. For example, instead of spending 5 minutes with everybody, you might want to spend 0 minutes with Susan and 10 minutes with Kara. The problem is that the way this work's always been done, you oftentimes don't know that until you've already kind of misallocated the time, if you will. And so this gives you some data to help plan better. Last thing I'll say here is that this column here is actually about the data itself, or the sources themselves. So when students are saving information into Scrible, we can actually show you, are they actually using databases that you're paying for? Are they actually pulling the information from open websites? If databases, which websites? Which databases? If websites, what kinds of websites? So for example, if we were in the actual app and I hover over these different pie slices, you'd see that 2 of these articles are coming from government websites. One's a Wikipedia article, which might be a no-no in terms of quoting from a credible source. 2 are coming from academic websites and so forth. So I know we're just about out of time. I wanted to just flash up this slide to, again, reinforce the fact that we work with both Google and Microsoft. And we are also partnered and integrated with these platforms. I'm sure many of you use Clever, Schoology, ClassLink, or Canvas. So that kind of makes us easier to integrate into the classroom and into the building. We've built a bunch of assistive features. We won't have time to talk about it here, but I'll just say that while these are not new concepts in the world, we've kind of combined them with annotation and some of the other things that we've built. So it makes it easier for you to be able to do some new things that people haven't seen before when they're looking at these kinds of features. For those of you that are not just using Chromebooks or laptops, we're actually on the verge of actually launching Scribble for iPad. It should be in the App Store by tomorrow, and we're going to be making a formal announcement either later this December or in mid-January, or by mid-January. So if you are kind of an iPad district or you want to use Scribble with earlier students, younger students, maybe in late elementary, just know that that's coming down the pike as well. Bottom line is the kind of work that we're enabling and supporting is the kind of work that students really have to master well for college and for career. These are the different kinds of programs that you see, Avid, dual enrollment, et cetera, that we've plugged into nicely. So if you've got these going on in your school or district, we can certainly help. And then, of course, these are the kinds of initiatives at the district level that we obviously plug into very nicely. College and career readiness is a big one for us. We actually won an award last year about this time of year for college and career readiness solution that was awarded to us by superintendents across the country. So happy to share some information about that. And I'm going to skip through this really quickly because we're out of time, but I just wanted to say that people oftentimes think of us for humanities, but obviously you can use us in science as well. And the annotation platform we've built is really great for close reading and text analysis, which we consider to be part of the research process, but sometimes people look at that separately and say, hey, we don't do a lot of research or writing, but we can use the annotation tools just for close reading. And we work with a number of districts in Wisconsin, and we'd love to work with more, so we'd love to work with you. I was going to play this brief sort of 30-second testimonial from Emily Leonard, who's one of your peers at Menominee Falls High School, but I know we're out of time. What I'll say is if you want to follow up with us, my email, I think was on the first slide. You can email us at contact@scribble.com. I've been happy to share this sort of brief testimonial by one of your peers with you, along with some follow-up information. And I guess I'll just close by saying that obviously we're partnered with WiLS. So the nice thing about that is that if you want to work with us on the paid version of the product, because there is a free version as well, but if you want to work with us on the paid version of the product, which has a lot of the power that I've described here, there's obviously a discount and better pricing through WiLS. And we've been an eligible expense under the Common School Fund. And certainly now with a lot of the stimulus funds that are still out there, those have been used to work with Scrible as well. So apologize if I cut it a little short or tight, but I'll stop there and see if there's any questions. And I guess I'll hand the mic back to Jeff to make the transition.
Thanks so much, Victor. I will also echo what Victor said. Please do reach out. You can, I see he's got his help@scribble.com email on the screen right there. You can also reach out to anybody here at WiLS. We'll put you in touch with Victor or a member of his team for quotes or questions or any other information. I know that he'll be delighted to hear from you. I haven't seen any questions come into chat, but of course, if any do come in as we proceed, I'll be sure to relay those on to you as well, Victor.
Yeah, no problem. I'll stay on so in case anybody has any questions later. And the slide I put up here at the end is really just in case anybody is thinking about us for the future. We oftentimes like to offer folks at this time of the year to maybe consider a pilot next semester, which we can do at no cost. And it really gives you a chance to evaluate fit and actually plan for the fall in case you want to do that. That would help kind of hit the ground running in the fall.
Fantastic. All right. I'm going to kind of put my agenda slide up once more real quick here before we transition over. I am excited to now introduce you, those of you who don't already know her, introduce you to Traci Egan, who joins us from OverDrive. Traci, are you all set?
I am. I can share my screen. There we go. And I am ready to begin. So thank you so very much for including me and including OverDrive in your meetings today. Please let me know if you cannot see the top slide for my presentation.
Looks good.
Excellent, thank you. My name is Traci Egan. I am an OverDrive account manager for academic. Academic to us means higher ed. It could be community college, technical college, colleges, state universities, you name it. That is who I'm addressing my comments to today, although OverDrive does work with public libraries and schools, K through 12 schools. Moving on to my next slide and scrolling down here. Okay, so a little bit of information about OverDrive. So OverDrive Academic is a critical resource for both curriculum and leisure reading for higher education. At OverDrive, we're dedicated to creating a world enlightened by reading by delivering the industry's largest catalog of ebooks, audiobooks, and other digital media to a growing network of 76,000 plus libraries, colleges, and companies in 94 countries. We do this by hiring skilled in-house librarians to help curate and serve your students, faculty, and staff, helping others read more with Libby, our award-winning app, by offering a catalog of millions of titles in 100 plus languages from 30,000 plus publishers. We are also very proud to be a certified B Corp, joining a growing global movement of people using business as a force for good. OverDrive earned this certification for our commitment to social and environmental performance, transparency, and accountability. While we provide content for curriculum use in the classroom, our key differentiator is content that supports the whole student. Talking a little bit about Libby. As I mentioned, Libby is our reading platform. It is award-winning, and many of you may be familiar with Libby if you borrow digital content from your local library. What you may not realize is that you can also utilize Libby through your web browser, and through a central Libby access point, you can connect to multiple libraries. That would include academic, corporate, public libraries, as long as you have that corresponding login credentials. At OverDrive, we are a community of readers, and we do have a little bit of a competition to see how many different libraries people have access to. I have 5. So reading is important to us, and Libby helps facilitate that with its functionality. A little bit about Libby functionality. I'm sorry, I do have a horrible head cold, so I apologize if I'm not sounding overly clear here. Libby's features are extensive. If you're interested, I'm happy to set up a demo for you or create a demo access point that you can use for 30 days. I encourage you to do that. Libby is tremendous, and using it is the key to understanding it. But a couple of features I want to note. One is you can export reading data through notes and highlights made in text. So your patrons can open a text, open an audiobook, create notes and highlights, and export those so that they can reference them for a paper or for any kind of additional use. You can browse in one of 10 languages, so you can absolutely support ESL students with Libby, and you can adjust reading and listening settings, including screen reader support, keyboard shortcuts, customizable ebook reader displays, and more. So Libby is your site to read and borrow titles. Marketplace is your site as librarians to access and build your collection. So similar to Libby, I can set up demo access for Marketplace as well. A couple of features of Marketplace to note is that with Marketplace, you can select purchase titles, you can pull reports, you can merchandise your collection and pay invoices. Although content through Marketplace is purchased a la carte, so you select the titles that best meet the needs of your campus community, we can assist you with bundling content and creating personalized recommendations for you. Your best OverDrive tool is your OverDrive team. So we can provide any additional support that you want. We can help you manage your collection in a way that makes sense for you. So let's talk a little bit about academic success through leisure reading. So we believe in supporting the whole student, and our digital collections do this through leisure reading data and streaming services, magazine collections, and more. Leisure reading has an important role at any age, but at the academic level, it's particularly helpful for academic success and career readiness. Leisure reading is not just fiction, it's nonfiction, self-improvement, and skills learning titles too. In addition, many academic libraries reach out to us to help expand a collection of DEI titles. And as I mentioned, OverDrive content does support the whole student. We do have curricular titles as well, but I'm going to focus a lot of my next couple slides on leisure reading or recreational reading. Some important insights shared to us by Penguin Random House is that younger generations are continuing to turn to books as a key resource to learn a new skill or better prepare for their prospective futures. Skill building is a key area of interest for Gen Zers, with almost 3/4 of Gen Zers identifying having taken a course outside of their schooling to learn a new skill. Audiobooks are an area of extreme interest for academic libraries, and we have a large selection of content from which to choose. I'm a huge audiobook listener, and I am absolutely in line in what we're finding overall with audiobook popularity. We've seen tremendous double-digit growth in audiobook use and reading since the last couple of years, especially since 2019. And not just more audiobook circulation, but people are reading more audiobooks as a percentage of their overall reading. Of the top 5 circulating titles across academic libraries, 4 of them are in the audiobook format. So why is that happening? Students are the same as you and I. They are commuting and they're doing multiple things at multiple times. So with audiobooks, they can do that. They can listen when they're in the car. They can listen while they're studying, walking to class, doing chores, etc. Audiobooks also support multiple learning styles. So I find that for me in particular, my audiobooks, I can listen much faster than I can read. And many students are more successful with auditory learning and reading, particularly students with dyslexia or ESL students. In addition to ebooks and audiobooks, OverDrive does offer additional content. We call them Libby Extras, and they're growing and growing. So with Libby Extras, your patrons can access multiple different databases and streaming media services that you select. And this helps provide more resources to your campus overall. A couple things to point out, my two favorites and the two that I see, one that I see very often used with academic libraries is Universal Class, which brings libraries lifelong hundreds of learning courses in over 30 subject areas, many of which offer continuing education units, which is really important. And I love, love, love Ground News. Not currently available for academic libraries, but will be soon. It's an online resource to compare headlines across the political spectrum and spot media bias using ratings driven by data. So in this day and age of algorithms and media literacy, I think it's an excellent tool for academic libraries to offer to their campus to help students really learn how to gauge media bias. I also want to talk about an extra magazines. So OverDrive launched magazines in the last couple years. As many libraries are eliminating your physical magazine collection, OverDrive magazines offer tools that expand your collection at low price per title. We have many top publishers from around the world in a variety of languages. A lot of my academic libraries really like the fact that there's content from publishers and titles that are outside of the US. Subjects can run the gamut from pop culture, gossip, fitness, fashion, arts, and crafts. And some of the title highlights include The Economist, New Scientist, National Geographic, and more. The last add-on to talk about is Canopy. Many of you may be familiar with Canopy. OverDrive acquired Canopy last year. Canopy is absolutely the best-in-class streaming video content right now in the industry. It is offered to academic libraries. If you have any questions about Canopy, you can direct those to me specifically, and I can connect you with the Canopy team. But the content is really terrific. It's used in the classroom. It's growing. It's again, best in class. So the last thing I want to talk about, we talked about content, we talked about our products, Marketplace and Libby. The last thing to talk about is the Resource Center. So with OverDrive, we really want to support you, and we do that through our team. So when you are under contract with OverDrive, you have not just me as support, you have a digital content librarian who can help pick titles for you, as I mentioned. You also have a tech person, but we also provide for you the OverDrive Resource Center. So the OverDrive Resource Center provides marketing and training materials. So we appreciate how busy you are and the many pulls on your time. The Resource Center provides ready-made resources for you and training resources for you so that you can spend your time building your digital collection and leave the marketing materials and the training to us to help you. So that's a really quick overview of Marketplace. I'm happy in all of our services. I'm happy to answer any of your questions. I'm also happy to create demo accounts for you or set up one-on-one time to kind of go through in more detail all of the services that we provide. Thank you.
Traci, thank you so much. I've been keeping an eye on the chat and the Q&A windows. I haven't seen any questions come in, but as always, anything that does come in as the session progresses or even afterwards, I'll be sure to make sure to relay that on to you as well. And yeah, we have all kinds of things available for OverDrive for those academic libraries on the call. WiLS has a special group, which we're certainly able to add more libraries to. Traci mentioned Canopy. Canopy just launched a new kind of academic package that WiLS is partnering with them on now. So lots to cover. Thank you so much, Traci.
Thank you.
All right. So let me share my screen again to set us up for our next presenter. So our third presenter is joining us today from AVP, which is actually one of WiLS order direct vendor partners, meaning that your transactions will go directly through them. But I don't want to talk too much about it because I want to make sure I'm leaving time for our presenter from AVP, Amy Rudersdorf. Amy, are you here?
I am, and I'm going to share my screen.
Looks good.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to talk today. I'm Amy Rudersdorf. I'm located in Madison, Wisconsin. We are a nationwide company, but there is a staff here in Madison. So I'm going to talk today about digital preservation, and specifically one of our digital preservation offerings at AVP called Digital Preservation Go, and you'll see it up in the red. There's a little logo for it. So we call it DPGo. So I'll refer to it in both ways as we're going through the talk today. So who are we? Why am I talking to you today? AVP is a data and digital asset consultancy. As I said, we're nationwide. We work with organizations of all sizes, from county government to public libraries to academic libraries to large corporate entities. And we work in sort of 4 areas, conceptual areas: planning, selecting, activating, and exploring. I like to say that our offerings are really soup to nuts. So if you need help planning a program, we can help with that. If you need help selecting technology, we can help with that. If you need help migrating your assets, we can help with that. So pretty much anything you need related to digital assets and digital preservation and the management of those assets is something we can do. So today, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about DPGo, which is in our AVP plan area. This is really about helping you strategize and understand your status as a digital preservation organization. So before we jump into the offering, I want to make sure we're all speaking the same language. So I have a single slide describing digital preservation. This was probably the hardest slide for me to put together, because I could talk about digital preservation for an entire day. Basically, digital preservation is a formal endeavor to ensure that your digital files that have continuing value, so the stuff that you really care about, remains accessible and usable in the long term by any stakeholders who need access to it. Fundamentally, you want to be preserving your bits, your zeros and ones. You want to be preserving your content, so the actual image in your JPEG, or the actual text in your PDF. So that's the focus of the preservation, is both on the fundamental core bits and also the content. So that's what we're thinking about when we talk about digital preservation today. Digital preservation requires 3 things: organizational commitment, resources, and technology. Digital preservation is not solely about technology. It is really a holistic approach to managing assets. And you see this little 3-legged stool. We say that the digital preservation stool can't stand up unless all 3 legs are stable. So let's jump into your situation. So if yours is like many organizations, you may struggle with the challenges of stewarding your digital assets. You're creating assets, lots and lots of assets, but nobody's actually doing anything with them. They're sitting on network drives, they're sitting on hard disks. So you may ask yourself, are we doing enough to save our content? Or what more could we be doing? Or maybe you're a little further along and you've done some sort of self-assessment, like the National Digital Stewardship Alliance's levels of digital preservation, but you don't know what to do with the results. That's another problem that we find organizations find themselves in. Or perhaps you've never performed any sort of assessment, you're just sort of stuck and you don't know what to do. That is where thinking about digital preservation and actually addressing these issues comes into play. As we say, digital preservation can't wait. We can help you assess the current state of your digital preservation environment. We can help you plan for ongoing security and integrity of your assets, and we can help you to develop strategies, fundraising, program development, all kinds of things that are required to keep those 3 legs stable. So with regard to digital preservation, you'll remember we do lots of other things, but I'm focusing on digital preservation today. AVP offers a suite of options, from audits to assessments, to workshops, to help you take your digital preservation program to the next level of maturity. So Digital Preservation Go is our lowest cost offering that we make available to organizations to help them understand their maturity levels. It's called a maturity assessment, and it's based on the awesome work of the Digital Preservation Coalition in the UK and a tool that they developed called the Rapid Assessment Model. And so we took the DPC's RAM and turned it into a series of surveys that enable us to help you assess your program and to give you real-world solutions to the challenges you face. So how does it work? As an AVP consultant working in either Spanish or English, we can guide your organization through a process of what we call self-reflection. Then your consultant analyzes and reports back to your organization on the data you've created as part of that self-reflection process. And we will actually score you on your digital preservation maturity and then offer you not just a score, as many assessments do, but also recommendations for addressing any gaps that the assessment finds, and then also developing a roadmap for implementation of those recommendations. The next few slides just show you real quickly what some of the outputs of the program look like. So there are actually 12 different sections in the Digital Preservation Coalition's Rapid Assessment Model, and those are on screen now. So what you see on the left are the categories and a description of those categories, and what you see on the right is a real life example of the scoring that we did for an organization that took advantage of DPGo. This shows you what those targets, what their targets look like, what they thought their level of maturity was in blue, and the orange shows you what they actually earned. So in most cases, they had they thought they were in a better place than they were, and we were able to help them see where some of their shortcomings were. And as I said, we also provide recommendations. So this is an example of a recommendation that we would produce as part of the output of this project. So here's how it works. It takes about 2 months to complete. During the first month, your AVP consultant meets with your team to kick off the project, provide an overview to the project, and then answer, of course, any logistical questions you have. Then we set you loose to do that self-assessment, which is completing a number of surveys on a variety of topics that ask questions about your organization's digital preservation maturity. Starting in the second month, after the surveys have been completed, the consultant reviews your survey results and hosts a 2-hour workshop with your team to talk through the results. And then based on this conversation and your survey responses, the consultant completes that DPC RAM worksheet, drafts the recommendations and the roadmap, and puts it all together in a professional slide deck that you can use to present to your stakeholders and administration. So we like to think it's pretty affordable. DPGo is $4,000 for the entire program. And we feel it is affordable for a variety of organizations and budgets. So you can learn more about DPGo at our website. So there's a link at the bottom in red, or you can put your camera right on that QR code and that'll take you straight to the website. And I'm happy to answer any questions. And thank you again for the opportunity to talk.
Thanks for joining us, Amy. As I mentioned at the top, if you want to work with AVP, you would go really directly to them, unlike a lot of the kind of order through WiLS transactions that we handle for like database vendors and so forth. Our arrangement is with AVP, but any interactions really will just go right to them. Although if you reach out to anybody at WiLS, we'll be happy to put you in touch with them in case you need us to. I've been keeping an eye on chat. I don't see any questions right now, but if any come in, I'll certainly shuttle them over to you, Amy. Thank you so much. All right, let's move us over to my screen one more time here so that I can introduce our fourth presenter joining us today from Hein is Steve Roses. Steve, I can see you on camera.
Yes.
You ready to go?
Yeah, I'm going to put my presentation on screen. Just let me know when you can see it.
I see it now. I see the PowerPoint window now.
Excellent. So some of you are probably familiar with HeinOnline. HeinOnline is we were initially known for our government, politics, and law research, although increasingly we've become more and more multidisciplinary. So we still have all of that information, but we've allowed you to go into more and more subjects and be truly interdisciplinary. So I will proceed. HeinOnline is multidisciplinary academic research package. It's made of 39 different databases. That's what's in HeinOnline Academic. So the subscribers from WiLS, for the most part, subscribe to HeinOnline Academic, which now includes 39 different databases. And they combine things like journals, also government documents, also books in one easy to use place. Research topics include history, education, criminal justice, religion, gender studies, much more. And of course, increasingly, we're getting into the STEM aspects of things like government, politics, and law, because all subjects are so related, and Hein is a great place to take advantage of researching that in a multidisciplinary way. So there are actually 1,500 different research topics. And for example, within HeinOnline Academic, which various members of WiLS subscribe to, there's various history databases, including a whole US presidential library that academic institutions love, going all the way back to George Washington, going all the way current to Biden. We have lots of articles and full text materials, full text articles on education. We have a whole criminal justice collection in HeinOnline Academic. We have a whole religion studies aspect of HeinOnline Academic. We have lots of gender studies materials throughout HeinOnline Academic, but we also have a Women and the Law collection, which is very easy to use and very well appreciated, which actually has much more than just legal material, but also all sorts of things on suffrage rights, etc. There's a lot of economics material and much more. So now we will continue with this. Okay, so HeinOnline has, can everyone still see my screen, by the way? I assume you can still see my screen.
Yep, looks good, Steve.
Yeah, so the idea of HeinOnline is to be affordable, comprehensive, have intuitive tools, and to be really user-friendly in terms of things like a chat line, which we have going from 8:30 to 6, Monday through Friday, affordable, so that similar databases or databases that are perceived as similar are much more expensive than HeinOnline, so we're easier to use and we're more affordable. And in many ways, we have better content. In addition, we try to be comprehensive so that not only are you accessing books and periodicals, but you also can easily access government documents that correlate to those books and articles. We have over 3,000 journals in HeinOnline. Every single journal in HeinOnline starts with issue number 1, and it's all full text searchable. So we want you to be able to research historic material on various subjects, but also current material on various subjects. So HeinOnline is unique in that it has all of that integrated in one place. We try to be as intuitive as possible. We work closely with our academic librarians to keep making HeinOnline more and more state-of-the-art, use AI materials, use machine learning to keep adding new search features. And we also keep adding new content, much of it at no additional charge. We keep adding new collections. So when HeinOnline first began the HeinOnline academic package, it had 18 databases. Now there are over 39 databases, and yet the price has really basically only kept up with inflation. So a really amazing amount of continuing resources and tools. And so we had just added, for example, speaking of that, the Pathfinder tool. Basically, we've gone into all the various aspects of HeinOnline, and we ascribed topics and categories and subjects so that you can research not only what we were known for as government politics and law material, but also applied sciences, humanities, industries and business, and natural and formal sciences. And of course, what we're most well known for is the social sciences. And you may dive into these topics in both a text-based or visual way. You can see here we have a whole circle of topics. You pick the area and then you can pick the sub area, and that'll take you right to specific results to research on your topic. So we have various WiLS subscribers already. We're known for we offer a HeinOnline academic 6-month free trial, so people can compare, say, to their other resources that they may have. We give you a 50% first year discount if you decide after the six-month free trial that you want to order HeinOnline Academic. You can go right ahead and order it. Of course, the trial is completely no obligation, but if you decide it fits for you and your usage is good, and we do give you usage statistics during the trial, then you can order, and the first year is 50% off. We also, because you're WiLS members, so the WiLS, being a WiLS member allows you to get 50% off your first year of subscribing, also allows you to have a perpetual renewal discount. And this goes up depending on how many subscribers there are. So I believe we're getting very close to going to a 10% discount. I think we only need 1 or 2 more subscribers from WiLS, and that will raise you up to a perpetual discount. That will put you in the 11 to 20 subscribers range in WiLS, and that will raise your discount. So just keep that in mind. We have a free database that any member of WiLS can subscribe to. It's called the Social Justice Suite. It's actually not just one database, but it's actually 5 databases. We started with slavery in the world. So if the study of slavery in America is a big part of your curriculum, or even if it's not, why not add the free database Slavery in America and the World? Then we added a whole free collection on gun regulation and legislation. We added then a whole civil rights and social justice collection. All of these are very well used in academic institutions throughout the country and the world. By the way, I mentioned the world. We have subscribers in over 150 countries. Well over 90% of the top 200 academic institutions going by US News and World Report subscribe to HeinOnline, but also small liberal arts colleges, community colleges, even high schools. So just be aware of that. We're all across the board as far as who subscribes to us. And that's because we're so affordable and easy to use. We're also very undergraduate friendly. Another free database, LGBTQ rights. We just added that recently, also very popular. And we're going to continue updating all of these free collections. So if you want to try HeinOnline Social Justice Suite for free, you can have perpetual access to it, and just email me after the conference, or email Jeff and he can, I put you in touch with me. We added a whole new collection that is available as an add-on. This is unlike some of the databases which we add for free. This is a chargeable add-on. It's perpetual access for $495. So if any of you already subscribe to HeinOnline, but you're interested in the evolution of water rights and water in the environment and the increasing drought in so many states in the union, then you can get this water rights and resources database for a one-time fee of $495. We also have a great, especially on the undergrad level, collection called Democracy in America, also available for a one-time payment. You can add to your HeinOnline database for one-time payment of $250 regularly. Now it's on sale for $225. We also have a very well used and appreciated collection called Indigenous Peoples of the Americas. You can get a discount now until the end of the year if you wanted to add Indigenous Peoples. This collection focuses on all the major tribes in this country from all the different regions, not just Southwest, not just Southeast, not just North, not just the Plains, but major tribes throughout the United States. Things like that are hard to get, like treaties and constitutions and bylaws, amazing stuff, full text material, Title 25 of the US Code, and also Title 25 of the Code of Federal Regulations is there at your fingertips. while you're using all these new unique materials that have been added to Indigenous peoples. And once again, that's on sale. And then we want you to know who your reps are. I am Director of Sales, Steve Roses. Here's my email, sroses@wshein.com. But some of you may be familiar with Tim Hoagie. He's a Senior Director of Sales. And you can see he's THOOGE at wshein.com. And then Roxanne R. Marmion at wshein. WSHein is WSHEIN.com. We're based in Buffalo, New York. Of course, I am not. I am based in the New Jersey area, so I'm the only one in Hein that is not based in Buffalo, New York. We are very active in social media. You can get to us on Twitter at HeinOnline. You can get to us through Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and even TikTok. So we really want you to see all those social media resources and access HeinOnline and see what's new. We also have a great blog that I recommend you subscribe to. Let me know if you want to subscribe to the blog. It's free and it's always covering different multidisciplinary subjects. And that is about it. If anyone has any questions, let me know either now or after we get off the line.
Steve, thank you so much. What a wealth of information and resources. There's so much more. You showed us so much more than even I remembered there being. And I think I try and stay on top of what our vendor partners are offering. So I'm thrilled to see everything that you're offering. And yeah, I mean, it's a heck of a deal. If you've got a 6-month trial and then half off your first full year, that's like 18 months for half the price of 1 year's subscription. That's a heck of a deal to get you started on such a great suite of resources. So thank you so much, Steve.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right. Well, that I think is going to bring us to the end of our Taco Tuesday session here for December of 2022. If you have questions about any of the resources you've seen here today, that includes Scrible, OverDrive, AVP, or HeinOnline, please don't hesitate to reach out to us here at WiLS. Our email, as always, is coop, that's COOP, at wils.org. We can help put you in touch with our vendor partners here for trials, pricing information, and any other questions that you might have. I can see here that even though I could swear that I updated this card before today's session, it's still listing today as our next Taco Tuesday. That is not true. Our next Taco Tuesday session will be January 10th, 2023, kicking off a brand new year of Taco Tuesdays. Thank you once again to everybody who attended live. Thank you once again to all of our presenters, and thank you to you who may be watching the recording now. Hello from the distant past. All right, with that little bit of silliness, I'm going to call it a session. Thanks again, everyone, and have a great afternoon.